Hey kids, I have this problem today, and I was hoping you could help me with it. Will you help me with my problem? Thank you so much. Okay, today I was asked to go to my basketball game at 3:30. I am not sure what that means, and that is why I need your help. Let's learn about telling time so I can make it to my basketball game. Here is an analog clock. This clock is a training clock and only has the hour hand on it. Whenever the hour hand points to one of the numbers, we can read the hour. Right now, the time is 1 o'clock. We say o'clock to represent the hour or the beginning of an hour. What time is it right now?
So you would say, what hour does the clock show? And it's 4 o'clock, so you hit 4 o'clock and you hit continue.
It is 4 o'clock. Great job, guys. What hour is it right now? It is 10 o'clock. Great job.
So then ask, what hour is it right now? You hit 10 o'clock. Continue.
This clock is a great training clock, and we already learned about clocks with the minute hand, so let's take a look at the big clock. On this clock, we have both an hour hand and a minute hand. Right now, the time on the clock is 6 o'clock. We say o'clock when the minute hand points straight up because it is on the hour. What time is it?
What time is it now? So you would have the class look at the clock, and it would be 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. And continue.
Is it right now? It is 7 o'clock. Great job again. On the right side, I have a digital clock, which, as we learned before, shows time, but only using numbers.
What does the digital clock only show? It only shows numbers.
Both of these clocks show 7 o'clock. The digital clock shows 7 for the hour, and the 2 zeros show the minutes. Right now, the hour is 7 and the minutes are 0, so we say 7 o'clock.
What does 00 represent? Minutes.
This time stuff is really cool, guys. Now that we know what o'clock means, it is time to learn about half hours so I can know when to go to my basketball game. Right now the time is 7 o'clock, but watch this. The minute hand is moving around the clock, but you will also notice that the hour hand is moving as well. While the minute hand went all the way around the clock, the hour hand moved from the 7 to the 8. That means 1 hour went by. For the minute hand to go all the way around the clock, it has to go around 60 minutes. So 60 minutes is how long it takes for the minute hand to go around the clock once. I am going to take the minute hand halfway around the clock. Where would the minute hand point to if it just went halfway around the clock?
Where would the minute hand point to if it only went halfway around the clock? The answer is 6.
Let's see. Mr. Clock, would you please move your minute hand halfway around the clock? Now we can see that the minute hand has gone halfway around the clock and has stopped at the 6. The small numbers on this clock are the minutes. The minute stopped at what number? The minute hand is pointing to the 30-minute mark. Halfway around the clock is 30 minutes. Great job, kids! The hour hand is in between the 8 and the 9. While the minute hand went halfway around the clock, the hour hand only moved halfway between the 8 and the 9. This is confusing because I do not know the hour. Do you think the hour is 8 or 9?
Is the hour 8 or 9? 8.
The hour is still 8, even though it is past the 8. When the hour hand points right at a number, it starts the hour. It stays that hour until it reaches the next number. Right now the hour hand is past the 8 halfway, and we see that the minute hand is pointing to the 30. We can say that the time is 8:30 o'clock. This happens to be the time that my school starts in the morning. My parents said that school starts at 8:30, and now I know what that means. 8:30. Wow, this time stuff is awesome. We have 2 clocks here, the analog clock on the left and the digital clock on the right. The digital clock shows 8:30, and the analog clock shows 8:30 as well. The 8 shows the hour, and the 30 shows the minutes that have passed. If we were to write the time, we would write it just like the digital clock shows. Can you tell me what time it is now?
What time is it now? 12:30?
The time is 12:30, or we could say it is 12:30. Great job, kids. We can see that a half hour or 30 minutes have passed since 12 o'clock. If we wanted to write this time, what would it look like? You would write it like you see it on this digital clock. 12 is the hour on the left and 30 minutes is on the right. The time is 12:30 or 12:30. Now that we have learned a lot, can you help me figure out when my basketball game starts? They told me it starts at 3:30. Is this 3:30?
Is this 3:30? No.
No, this is not 3:30. This is 2:30 o'clock. How about now? Is this 3:30? No, this is still not 3:30. What time is this showing?
What time is this showing? It's 3 o'clock.
It is showing 3 o'clock. How many more minutes do I have to move the minute hand to get to 3:30?
How many more minutes until 3:30? 30 minutes?
We need to move the minute hand 30 minutes or halfway around the clock. Is the time on the clock 3:30? It is 3:30. Great job! Can you tell me now how to write this time?
How do you write this time? 3:30.
It would look like this. The time is 3:30. Wow, we have learned so much today, and I am so glad you helped me. I better get to my basketball game, so we will see you later. Take care and keep practicing. Goodbye.
I made a PowerPoint to help students learn how to read a clock.
Mr. Wolf?
It's 7 o'clock. Time to get up. I'm so hungry.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 8 o'clock. Time for breakfast, but I'm still hungry.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 9 o'clock. Time to brush my sharp teeth.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 10 o'clock. Time to get dressed, look at me. I must eat more.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 11 o'clock. Time for play school. I'll pick you up for lunch. Yum, yum.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 12 o'clock. Time for lunch, but I'm still very, very hungry.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 1 o'clock. Time for a nap. Sweet dreams.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 2 o'clock. Time to read a book.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's It's 3 o'clock. Time to clean the dining room.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 4 o'clock. Time to fetch the tablecloth.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's 5 o'clock. Time to set the table. What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
It's dinner time!
This is an egg puzzle counting by 5.
Hello everyone! Today we're going to be telling the time and learning how to skip count by 5s. So we're pretty excited to do this. Let's go ahead and get started right away. Alright, so we have the blue hand, which is the minute hand, and that's the one we'll be moving around the clock today to learn how to skip count by 5s. We also have the red hand right here, and that's the hour hand. So the short red hand is for the hours. And you can see around the clock we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. These big red numbers are the hours of the day. And these little dots, these blue small numbers, that there's a 5, there's a 10, and a 15. These smaller numbers, those are the minutes of the day. So we're going to To go ahead and learn how to skip count by 5 using these small blue numbers around the clock for the minutes. And we'll be using the minute hand for that. So let's go ahead and start with 12 o'clock. So right now the red hand, the hour hand's on the 12 and the minute hand is on the 12. So it's 12 o'clock. And we're going to go around the clock and skip count by 5s. So we first will start with this right here. We'll go to 5. Then we move it over to 10. Then we have 15. Then down here we have 20. Then we go to 25. Then we go down to the 6, which is on the 30 right here. Then we have 35. Then there's 40. 45, 50, 55, and then we go up to 60. And whenever we hit 60, it means we're starting a new hour. There are 60 minutes in an hour, so that's why we end on the 60. And once we get there, then we're going to move the red hand, or the hour hand, to the 1. So now it's going to be 1 o'clock, and the minute hand stays here on the 12, or on the 60, for 60 minutes. And that's now set to 1 o'clock. All right, so now let's go ahead and count around the clock again. We're going to do this a few more times before we start saying the time as we actually will during the day. So we're going to start by counting some more by 5s. So now we have, again, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. All right, so we made it to 60, and that means we are going to make it to the next hour of the day, which is 2 o'clock. So now we're on 2 o'clock, and the minute hand's on the 60, and we're going to go around again. So what we're going to do now is make sure, if you haven't started repeating me yet, now is a perfect time to start. So let's go around the clock and say the numbers with me. Say the minutes of the day with me by skip counting by 5. All right, here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. All right. So now we move forward to, the clock moves forward to 3 o'clock. The hour hand's on the 3, the minute hand's on the 12, or here on the minutes, it's on the 60. Now let's start counting around the clock by 5s, but we're going to actually say the time also. So it's going to be 3:05. That's how you'd say it. If the clock looks like this, it's actually 3:05. Now it's going to move to 3:10, like that. Then we have 3:15. Then we have 3:20, 3:25, 3:30, 3:35, 3:40, 3:45, 3:50, 3:55, and now we hit 60, and when we get to the 60, we actually say 4 o'clock. So when the minute hand hits the 60, we're actually moving on to the next hour, so now it's 4 o'clock. All right, so let's try that again. We have 4:05, 4:10, 4:15, 4:20, 4:25, 4:30, 4:35, 4:40, 4:45, 4:50, 4:55, and then we get to 5 o'clock when we hit the 60. We go 55, then 60, And that puts us at 5 o'clock, either in the morning or the afternoon. All right, so now we have 5 o'clock right here. So let's do a few more. Let's fast forward all the way to 8 o'clock, and we're going to go and skip count by 5s around the clock again, telling the time. So now we have 8. It's 8 o'clock when the minute hand's on the 60. Now we're going to move forward to the 5. So we go 8:05, 8:10, 8:15, 8:20, 8:25, 8:30, 8:35, 8:40, 8:45, 8:50, 8:55, and 8:60, or in other words, 9 o'clock. There we go. We go to 9 o'clock now. Let's fast forward here to 11 o'clock. All right, we're going to do it again. We're going to skip count around by 5s, telling the time. So it's 11 o'clock right now, because the minute hand's on the 60 and the hour hand's on the 11. Now we're going to go to 11:05. Whoopsie, that didn't work quite right. There we go. 11:05, 11:10, 11:15, 11:20, 11:25, 11:30, 11:35, 11:40, 11:45, 11:50, 11:55, and then we go to the 60, which means we're actually at 12 o'clock, which is where we started. Okay, let's go around one more time. This time we're going to say 12. We're going to tell the time by 12. So we'll start with 12:05, 12:10, 12:15, 12:20, 12:25, 12:30, 12:35, 12:40, 12:45, 12:50, 12:55, and we're back to the 60, which means it's 1 o'clock. All right, great job today counting with me by 5, skip counting by 5s, and learning how to tell the time by 5s around the clock. You did a great job today. Keep on practicing, counting the time.